We join you 2 minutes from noon on Saturday at the Under-16 AAA Hockey Championships for Maritime Supremacy. Welcome aboard from wherever you may be to compare a little bit with golf. And why not? The Masters is on this weekend. Saturday is moving day, and boy, this day will determine a lot for this championship. My name is Mark Rooney here with High Button Sports. We've been with you all week. What a tremendous week it has been. So pleased to be part of this event, and we welcome you in here today for the second last game of the championship and the round robin. This will be between Nova Scotia representatives. They're the home team, looking for their first win in the column. The Kings HC. And of course the provincial champion, three-time defending provincial champion, Eastern Dukes. We'll give you the ramifications of this game as we progress. We'll have the anthem in a moment, and we'll be ready for an all-important puck drop. There's the anthem with DJ Jeremy McDonald in the house on loan from Summerside Western Capitals. A real pro at handling hockey games, and a nod to the Capitals who kept their season alive last night with a big win over the Truro Bearcats. They'll play again in Truro. But today all eyes are on Tyne Valley, beautiful community about 25 minutes west of Charlottetown, home to the Western Rebels. And this weekend, home to under-16 AAA hockey action. Kings coming in desperately looking for a win. They will not advance, unfortunately, to tomorrow's gold medal. They would love to play spoiler. Which team wouldn't like that? The Dukes with so much on the line, so close the last two seasons to getting a gold medal. And we will see what happens in the next 60. Jackman in tight for the Kings. Ty Murnion bounces it up. It'll be turned back over to Weston. A couple of two-year veterans for the Kings. Had a lovely chat with team manager Krista Hiscott just moments ago. A great job she has done with this team. And while I'm at it, a big nod to general manager of the Dukes. That's flipped in. Where is it? Oh my gosh, that landed on the back of the net. That hits, I get to my starting goalies here in a minute here. That hit goaltender Joseph Saunders on the back and landed on the top of the net. Now that was probably inches away from hitting Saunders and going in 40 seconds. Wow. We'll get to our starting goaltenders here momentarily. Again, a big shout out to Jamie McDonald of the Eastern Dukes, who has put heart and soul into this organization and made it one of the best in the league. McCormick shot right on Joseph Saunders. Big stop early. Saunders will come in with a .257 goals against and a .923 save percentage. He'll be opposed at the other end of the rink by Mason McCausland with a .242 goals against and a .908 save percentage. Those are regular season statistics, of course. McCormick with a clean puck drop back to Elward. He'll push it into Campbell Dunn. Spins that around for Connor Arsenault. He's being chased now. Arsenault with a move, a backhand. Saunders with a save. They try to bang away at the side of the goal. Saunders with the right leg. So early look there for the Dukes, and Saunders closes that door tightly. So Saunders tested early. He passes them both. A one-time attempt by Campbell Dunn. Kings able to clear the zone. Now it's picked up going the other way. In front now, Lemoyne with a neat move, and Mason McCausland with an equally sharp stop for the Dukes of the other way. Lemoyne with a very quick release for the Kings, hoping to get them on the board early. Back the other way is Cole. And Mason to Mason. And a little conversation afterwards will always make things interesting when you're dealing with 16 and 17-year-old young men. There's a lot of bravado, and this is incredibly exciting hockey to watch. It's not always perfect. There are mistakes made. Emotions sometimes get away from people, but it is all part of the under 16 phenomenon, and it makes it terribly exciting to watch and so much fun to be a part of. Puck drop, now it comes to Grancelli, the shot right on. McCausland had to be low. Grancelli able to get a backhand away. Lemoyne second on his team. He got that earlier good chance in regular season points with 35 behind Jackman. Underway with the puck drop. Dukes control it in their own zone. That's the sure-handed Quinn McDonald. He'll start out. He'll cross the blue line, turn over in front of Saunders. It slipped back through. Giving chase there now is Neufeld, and he'll bring it up the other way. McCausland loves to play the puck behind the goal. English for the Dukes will clear the blue line. Shot by Dunn, Sam Dunn. There are two Dunns on the team. That one's a little high over Saunders. In control now. Bowering will throw one at the net, and Saunders will skillfully throw that into the corner out of harm's way. 2.5 minutes have gone here in the second last round robin tournament game. One more coming up this afternoon, and that'll be a big one as well. Langell with a shot. That's right on, blocker save. Kings are there to clean it up. English gets a glove on it, flips it over to Bowering. He's poke checked. Chisholm was offside, so the Kings will clear as English takes control for the Dukes. English tried to get through Weston. No doing there. Solid defenseman there for the Kings. Again, a second-year man. English has to be careful. He's going to be grabbed from behind by Chisholm, and the Kings will get it down into Duke's territory. Balanced play for both teams so far. Green shot. Hit a stick, and that'll deflect into the black netting here. This rink is about 7 years old. First rink in the tight-knit community of Tyne Valley unfortunately had a tragic fire and was rebuilt. Great community efforts pulled that together. And it's a wonderful rink, not that cold. However, the choice of black netting, somebody may have would like to have a breakfast ball on that one and perhaps a redo. But anyhow, so I know it doesn't come across as clean and breakfast ball is another golf reference. Those who play will know that one. It's just like, could we have a second try? However, we'll get you the action as best as possible. And this is now Gardner. Couldn't slip through. Again, well defended there by Amiro. McLennan now for the Dukes. He's working in. Shot. Saunders sharp again. Weston up to Jackman. Thompson gives chase. It's in front. Dangerous, picked away by Broussard to the Dukes, and they'll hit Gardner. He's redirected back to Romaine on the blue line for the Kings. They get it up to Thompson. He'll redirect it. That's into the skate of Kipton Elward of the Dukes. And there'll be a battle at center ice for that one. Jackman comes away with it. Negotiates the blue line so as to keep his team onside, and the Kings will make some changes on the offensive side of their lineup. Now William Henry, he'll get to blue line. He's taken off the puck by Lemoyne. Henry just missed intercepting that pass. This is Slavuta. Winding up in his own zone. He'll get to the blue line, now the red line. Slavuta will go across the blue line. McCausland out to touch it. And now Blake Hartman. He's got Fisher in stride. Fisher can't get past Glover. Cole gives Hartman a bump. That was a battle in the corner. That one sent through. No harm done for the Kings, however. Afraid I don't have access to any in-game statistics for you, so I'll do my best. We'll get some after. Henry with a shot. Saunders, nice leg save, kicked it out. And Lemoyne will scoop up the rebound and send the Kings off. Onside, this is Cole. Cole trying to get it to Lemoyne. He's dangerous. Lemoyne still lugging the puck. McCausland saw it. It slipped off of his pad into the corner. That could have been dangerous. Lemoyne second on the team in the regular season points. That'll go to an empty wing, and it will cross the blue line, forcing the Kings to regroup. Lemoyne will send it deep. McCausland will settle it down. Good forechecking by Slavuta, forcing Aylward to go the other way. He'll get a backhand up to Arsenault, and he'll backhand that to the dangerous Colin McCormick. There's rebound. McCormick scores for the Dukes. Cut the rebound off the boards. McCormick was there to follow it up. And it's 1-0 Eastern Dukes. Tough bounce for the Kings. Checking my replay here. And that's exactly what happened. And it is 1-0 for the Eastern Dukes. A weird bounce off the boards. And sometimes you have to be lucky to be good. Saunders went out to play it looks like. And it took, perhaps didn't even see McCormick there. That could well be the cause. But certainly a funky bounce off the boards. There's Campbell Dunn with another shot. That whistled wide. There's another bounce. And Saunders was able to get a stick on that to push it wide. Another now, again, I told you I didn't have stats for shots, that sort of thing, but I dare say the Dukes are a little bit ahead in the shots department. When I get a moment here, I'll start talking about the ramifications of this game. Every tournament has permutations that will affect the results, wins, losses, ties. Back forward is Amiro. Again, the second-year King. Many of these players, of course, will be playing their last weekend of under-16 hockey. What a great, in my opinion anyhow. There's 2-on-1. We'll get back to that in a moment. Nice move, Grancelli. Knocked off the puck by Bowering. Grancelli had a step. Now Bowering swings wide. The pass! Well defended by Glover as English was looking for the tap in there. Now LeBlanc takes a big hit from Bowering, and that may be too big a hit. As LeBlanc went down, he's back up, I can report, but I think that will be either boarding or head contact against Bowering. Again, sometimes the PA announcer, even though he's one of the best, sometimes it's tough in the arena with the crowd noise to pick up what they're saying. But regardless, it will be a power play for the Kings, and they will be happy to take it. Kings would love to tie this one up. Here's their golden opportunity. That was the announcement. Unfortunately, there's a lot of bell ringing and cheering and wasn't quite able to interpret what Mr. McDonald was saying, but back comes Jackman. He's turned away. Back on the stick of Weston. He's got Godkin on his tail. Godkin, one of the better penalty killers in the league. It'll go wide to Jackman now. Feeds it back to Amiro. A high pass, Weston, unable to keep it in. Amiro winds up through center, picked up by Godkin. Can't handle it though. The Kings will retreat. Now it'll come up to Jackman. He's on the left wing with some speed, pushing down the left side. Swing around Murnion. Interesting conversation yesterday. And this is Godkin now with a break. Godkin on his feet. The Kings defender is not. Finally will come back the other way. That was good defense in a challenging situation. Lemoyne streaks across. We'll set it up. 35 seconds to go in the man advantage for the Kings. This is Lemoyne. Off the skate of Godkin. Slavuta now. He'll feed it down into the corner. Feeds back to Slavuta. Back to Chisholm. Shot on, block. The rebound is there, side of the goal. Romaine will feed it back. Corkum, not Chisholm. Shot fanned on 5 seconds in the man advantage. Slavuta can't hold it in at the line, and that will do it for the penalty. Strong PK for the Dukes. No real big chances given up as we approach the halfway mark of period number 1 here in game number 9 of this championship weekend. Of course, the Kings had a very dramatic means to get to this weekend as they won their provincial championship after double overtime and then a shootout against the Martello Buccaneers. They're the Nova Scotia representatives, and the Eastern Dukes with a 4-0, really unexpected from everybody, sweep of the arch rival Western Rebels, and they are the Prince Edward Island representative. There's floated in, it's redirected. Oh my goodness, what a save, Joseph Saunders. If he wore a size 7 instead of a size 8 skate, that one's in. Saunders with the agility. And this will now be a penalty coming the way of the Kings. I can tell you as a 57-year-old goaltender, I would love to be able to make a move like that. Puck stolen now finally by Slavuta, touched, and this will give the Eastern Dukes their first man advantage. Penalty will go to Cole. I'll try and get the audio a little bit better to report that to you. Just a tick less than 9 minutes to go here in the first period. Dukes with a strong, not spectacular power play this regular season. English has got a lane, a big blocker save from Saunders. Saw that nicely. And it's going to be Neufeld now trying to tie it up smartly. He's got some help as a board battle. It comes free. Lofted high now from the Kings, Kaysen Lively. That will take even more time off the clock in this penalty kill. McCormick forced to regroup. 87% penalty kill for the Kings in regular season, I mean to say. Here's Dunn, side steps, drops for Dunn. We've got English in the corner. 1:10 to go, 70 seconds now. McCormick settles it. It's redirected, didn't get through. Manager Krista Hiscott was telling me this is the Kings' 59th game of the season. Everybody's ready for a breather, and then spring ID camp starting another week. So If you thought hockey was a winter sport, Saunders with the nice save in the glove. You are mistaken. So we'll get a chance here to go over some of the permutations. The Kings with no victories to date, unfortunately, do not have a chance to see tomorrow's action. Cabot Highlanders have played all 4 of their games. They sit at 2-2 for 6 points, 3 points for a victory as opposed to 2 in regular season. The Cabot sits with 2. That one will get past Merion. The host Western Rebels sit also with 6 points. They are 2-1 with 1 more game to go against the St. John Vitoes. The Vitoes have had probably the most interesting tournament thus far. They've been involved in 2 unbelievable There's Langell! Oh, shot just wide. It hit a stick, perhaps. I don't think Saunders got a piece of that, but boy, that was close. The Vitoes have been part of 2 3-goal comebacks. One against them, which resulted in an overtime loss, but did garner them 1 point. And earlier this morning, the Vitoes were part of a remarkable comeback, scoring 2. Now in Merion, Aylward, penalties expire, it's loose! And right on the front door was Nash Langell. He'll step aside. I'm sure Duke's coaching staff have instructed their players to be very, very tolerant in what they take in terms of a hit or pushing, or not to be goaded into anything. This game means so much for them. So Langell skated away from that. This is Chisholm now back the other way, trying to find Grancelli. Easily the Kings have some of the more flavorful names, fun names to broadcast, with Romain and Slavuda and Grancelli and Amiro and Siderek. I hope I'm doing justice to them. I certainly try hard. McLennan couldn't get that through. Big block by Colt. It's Corkum. It's in front. Turnover. Cleaned up, and that one will go back over the stick. This will be Henry all the way back. He'll get it up into the stick of McLennan. 6 minutes to go in period number 1. Henry with a big bump against Frazier in front of the Kings bench. Coming away with it is Broussard. Henry from a ridiculous angle. It's in front, however, Broussard! That one, huge stop! Saunders is the player of the game thus far. Excuse me, I'm behind on my clock. 5:41 to go. My gosh, Saunders has been more than steady, and there have been a couple of point-blank attempts. So back to our standings. The Vitoes with a remarkable comeback against the Highlanders. They were down 4-1. They scored 2 shorthanded goals within a minute, and they came away with a victory. They sit at 2-1. However, that's a special one, as they do get 1 point. So they are actually in the lead currently with 7 points. And the Dukes, sit at 5 points with a 2-1. Again, they're one of their twos, one of their wins, as icing is the call. One of their 2 wins wasn't a 3-pointer. It was a remarkable comeback, as I referenced, against St. John yesterday. Duke's lucky to get through that one. That one went to a shootout, in fact. So in order, Kings 7 points. Rebels, Cabot with 6 points each. Rebels still with a game to play. Vito still with a game to play. Dukes are at 5, and the Kings are at no points thus far. There's Godkin with a shot. Getting a stick on that, pushing it wide was Saunders. Frazier again tied up, and he'll escape in front of his own bench. He's got Thompson with him. Frazier slipped. I don't think there was any infraction on that one. It may have looked bad, but from my perspective, it looked clean. Pass up to Jackman. He'll drop it for Frazier, or Fraser. I hope I'm getting it right. This is Campbell Dunn. He's Slavuta all over him, and Amiro as well. Campbell Dunn trying to do it by himself. Now that's turned over. Excellent stick by Lemoyne, and Saunders with an excellent stick to get it away from trouble. Dukes with certainly more offensive zone time. This is Dunn. Good job from Slavuta to get a stick, take that away, as the Duke was working in, looking for a backdoor pass. Now it's turned, a hand pass. I guess it's fair to do this. Certainly made public yesterday on Facebook that a member of our U16 community is facing some health struggles again. And of course, that's saddening for all of us. Member of the Martello Buccaneers, Carter Myra, who put up such a significant health struggle here and fought his way back. And the news was released last night that looks like he's going to have another health struggle. So, Carter, we are certainly all with you, and we hope and pray for your full recovery, and with your family and friends as well. And I'm sure I speak on behalf of the High Button team and everybody involved with this U16 league. All the best to you. McCormick scores! And Colin McCormick has been the man for the Dukes this season, as well as during this tournament. 4-point game in game 1, hat trick against the Vitoes in game 2. Dukes failed to see the scoreboard on game 3 against Cabot. What a defensive piece of work that was. And the Eastern Dukes double their leads. 3:13 to go here in the period. Turnover behind the goal. Dunn found McCormick, and he was left all alone. Saunders did get a piece of it. The wraparound attempt, Saunders has got that one. Shot right on Saunders, no rebound. So McCormick from Campbell Dunn, they have been big weapons for head coach William Proud this year. McCormick in his second year. Currently, and he'll take it into next season, leads the U16 league all time in points. That is impressive. Shot on, maybe just the side of the net. The twine bent. Comes from Aylward, who tries to get it through now. Now the Dukes are really pushing the Kings into their own zone. Aylward shot. Saunders has certainly been the busier of the two. So the last game to be played is 3 o'clock this afternoon, correction. Most of the games are in the evening. And that will be between the St. John Vitoes, be their second game of the day, and the Western Rebels. Now, Cabot again is at 6 points. They can go no further. They have played their 4 games. The Dukes, with a regulation win today, would be 3 points. That would get them to 8, correction. Now Chisholm with the neat behind the stick move. Man, they make that look so easy. The skill on some of these guys is so impressive. Under 2 minutes to go in period number 1. And we'll come back the other way with Culp. Culp has it knocked off his stick. The Dukes will come the other way. English. Shot, heavy shot from Aylward. Big man can let it go. Grancelli along the boards. Kings will break out. Culp will swing that around, can't pick it up. The other way, Broussard now. And the Kings will clear that one cleanly now. So the Dukes can get to 8 points with a regulation win. An overtime win would get them to 7, tying them with the Vitoes. An overtime loss, shootout loss, would get them to 6. And again tonight, at 3 o'clock or this afternoon. The Rebels with a shot on there, and that's wide. We get to the last minute of play. The Rebels can get to 9 points. The Vitoes with a win could get to 10 points. Obviously, they both can't win. However, if overtime, shootouts involved, there would be a splitting up of the 3 points, 2 and 1, 1 and 2. So there's an awful lot to be decided. As I said, in golf, they call this Moving Saturday, where the tournament changes. Shot right on McCausland with an enormous save. Holy cow, his best of the game. Point blank shot, I believe it was Jackman that released that. And 20 seconds left. Boy, wouldn't the Kings love to throw one on the board before they hit intermission, just for some momentum, a little bit of life. This is Jackman. Leaves it for Amiro. Just 1 second left. Can't get the shot away, or at least a hard one. I got a replay on this one-time attempt. Excuse me, it was Fraser who had the one-timer. Jackman had the rebound on that one as both teams head for the dressing room. Lots of Dukes fans, of course, here local. We're about an hour and 15 minutes away from the Charlottetown area. The Dukes catchment is from Charlottetown to the east of the island, eastern side of the island. Okay, we'll catch you up on some more business as we progress through period number 2. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to come back, find your way to High Button Sports, and watch period number 3 of Dukes Kings. Welcome back. Period number 2, ready to go. Game number 9 of this 11-game tournament. This one between the Kings HC from the Sackville area. I've been told last year not to pinpoint them to Lower Sackville, even though that's sometimes they play out of the beautiful Lower Sackville arena. Sometimes out of East Hants and wherever, but and of course the Eastern Dukes, who call Montague Cavendish Arms Rink. It's a different facility, but on the other end of the island, truthfully, and then relatively new Simmons Sports Center. They call 2 rinks their home as well. So 2-0 after 1 goals by McCormick off an unlucky bounce for goaltender Joseph Saunders. Heavy bounce off the backboards, came right out. McCormick was, as they say, Johnny on the spot, able to tap it in. And McCormick with his second of the game. I'm not even quite sure how many of the tournament. 6th at least. 7th perhaps. 2, 3, 5, 7th, yes. 6 and 7, just to appease the teenagers in the crowd. 6-7. We're almost set to go. And it's 2-0 Kings. Shots on goal in the first period favor the Dukes, 19-7. Joseph Saunders was busy and very strong. Made some incredible saves. An unlucky bounce, and it's probably a 1-0 game. And at the other end, McCausland was not nearly as busy, but boy, off of the stick of Fraser in front, he was wide open. And now we've got a bit of a sticky ice syndrome here off the fresh flood. But Fraser nearly got the Kings on the board. McCausland with a huge blocker save. Try to work through his Corkum. He was turned back by Arsenal. The Dukes. Now Corkum regains possession. He'll tap it over to McCormick. Saunders again with the stick. Boy, the goaltenders make it look easy. Here's Dunn trying to find again. Arsenal. Oh my goodness! Holy moly! That was a grade A save if there ever was one. Saunders keeps this at 2-0. There was another one down at the other end. The glove flashed out of nowhere like lightning. And I'm telling you what, at the nearest dairy bar in West Prince, and there are plenty of them, I can promise you, somebody owes Joseph Saunders a milkshake after this one. Let's upgrade that to a banana split. He has been remarkable. Battle in front of the Dukes board. Slavuta's there. And Moreau comes away with it. Over to Cole. Right on, and McCausland's going to get the blocker on that. That'll be up into the netting. Yeah, this could be 3-4-0 right now. Saunders playing so strong. Very little he could have done about either goal. In fact, he got a glove on the second goal. Ripped all the way around. And this will be icing. Campbell Dunn not able to get a stick on that. He was on his side of the red line regardless. Would have been icing, as we'll come back the other way. Just a minute and 51 seconds played in period number 1. Hard to believe we are 24 hours really away, more or less, from the end of the season. 2 teams will have a rematch tomorrow. And remains a shot in front. McCausland the rebound. Slavuta just couldn't find the back. Kings with their best look. Other than the shot, perhaps again in front. It slips through the mouth of the goal. Kings pushing now. This is Campbell done. Finding Connor Arsenault with McCormick. He's in. McCormick. Blocker save maybe. Perhaps a little high on the backhand. Campbell Dunn had it poked away. 3 penalties, all minor in the first period. Nothing so far in the second. 2 to the Dukes and 1 to the Kings. McCormick can't get through a stingy Kings defense. They'll move it up. This is Cole. Waiting for help. He'll swing it around, looking for maybe Grancelli, who was in the vicinity. Slavuta, who was in the vicinity. It'll come back to Romaine. Big Glover fans on it now. Here's a turnover. Langell with Sam Dunn. Langell with a good stick check by Glover. Taking off the puck. Culp now trying to help out. It's in front. Sam Dunn tied up. He gets a backhand. Lands. Oh, what a save and a goal and the rebound. Joseph Saunders again. Yeoman's work in the net. However, Langell able to pick up his own rebound off the leg save. And the Eastern Dukes will push ahead. 3-0. Again, this is a hugely meaningful game for the Eastern Dukes in this tournament. The Kings would love to grab their first win of the tournament and finish their season strong, of course, perhaps play spoiler. And now 2-on-1, they come back the other way. Here's Culp, shot, missed the net. All the way back the other way. McLennan will go back to McDonald. That's redirected by English right on. Saunders with another save. McLennan looking for the wraparound. He's got Siderik on him. And this is Grancelli all the way down the other way. He's got Neufeld with him. Neufeld in the corner. Clearing pass blocked by Bowering. Now they mix it up a little bit. Referee keeping a close eye on them. Now Grancelli in the corner. Bowering takes a little bump on him. Backhanded. Nobody home there for the Kings. So harmless for the Dukes. 5 minutes played here in the period. Chisholm able to backhand it out. Fits the line, kept in. Big bump there from Lively on Bowering. Dukes tucked in their own zone, still kept in now by Siderik. That's floated in wide. Looking for the rebound, a tip, anything. Weston will get that now. McCausland mishandles it a little bit. It did come in front, and the Dukes cannot clear it. Now they do. Good pressure by the Kings. 5 minutes into period number 2. Siderik is back again for his team, and there will be a penalty now. Knocked down by a high stick, I think is what the call is going to be. The community here in Tyne Valley is always supportive. And they have come out in droves to support these under-16 hockey players, not just for their own Rebels, of course, on home soil. Pretty long-standing. Again, this only 3 years into the 2 franchises here on PEI, and it's been a fierce rivalry. I dare say they're not necessarily here to support the Dukes, but they're here to support their Rebels, and they'll be back at 3 o'clock as the Rebels and the Vitoes will play the final round-robin game, and it will be a dandy. We will be here with you as well on High Button, live, of course. The local legend, Luke Diamond, will be back on the call for that one. There's a battle now in front, board battle. It's still loose. Thompson will swing it back in, picked up by Green. Green will skate it out across the blue line. Green gets to the blue line, red line, slashes it in. He was taken down in the process. Now it's in the corner to the right of Saunders. Coming away with his Godkin. Trying to find Hartman in front. He was tied up neatly. And good hand-eye coordination by Thompson to pull that out. Now back the other way. Fraser, shot right on, big save. Fraser with another good, strong shot. The Kings have hit a couple of really good looks. A one-time shot, that's a lot on it, my goodness. One-timer, McCausland able to get that one. Heavy hit by Cole. Dukes fan calling for perhaps some interference on that. That was a little bit after the play. Now Cole looking for the long pass. This is Slavuta, finds his way to center, no further now, picked up. Back onside was Lemoyne, shot, blocker save from McCausland. Other way is Dunn, off to the skate of Cole. Campbell Dunn will try it again. Up the other way is Dunn. He'll take a big hit in the corner. And Arsenault. Tipped ahead. Swinging that around is Henry back the other way, and Glover takes over for his Kings. Now Arsenault, turnover, break, scores! A bad turnover by the Kings in their own zone. Essentially came right on the stick of Connor Arsenault. And an unassisted goal for the second-year Arsenault. It will put the Eastern Dukes ahead 4-0. Joseph Saunders left completely alone with Arsenault. I believe he got a piece of it. I'll catch the rebound here in a few seconds to see exactly what happened. I said rebound, catch the replay, of course. My mind's on rebounds. I believe he did get a piece of that one. So credit to Saunders for hanging in there with a wide open Connor Arsenault. And who else but McCormick as a helper? Arsenault with 26 points in the regular season. And here's McCormick again with Campbell Dunn. These two have been lethal. McCormick, excellent play from Sidoric. Wow. Well positioned. That defensive play was wonderful. Kings back the other way. They have Corkum and Grancelli in for checking. Sam Dunn. It lofts it high against Sidoric. He's able to clear it out. Nice play by the Kings D-man. It's onto the stick of Grancelli. Nice feather pass in Neufeld. He'll get that into Kolp. Here's McCormick. He sprung free now. Trying to make a move. Corkum with a big body on McCormick. Now he went into the boards hard. That would be an enormous loss to the Dukes as he stumbles to his feet to get to the bench. Heavy hit on Corkum, on the captain. And we'll wait to see what his status looks like. He's able to get himself back up. That would be a tremendous loss for the Eastern Dukes, excuse me. Eastern Kings is a location in Prince Edward Island. Sometimes on the weekends my mouth gets ahead of my mind. Kings will break across. Chipped ahead by LeBlanc, and McCausland had to be careful with that. We've crossed the halfway mark of regulation play. 9:59 to go here in period number 2, game 10. A must win for the Eastern Dukes. They have certainly had a good first half of the game. Weston floats that in. Jackman was right in the grill of McCausland, the goaltender. And a tip one way or the other could have gotten the Kings on the board. Here's English. Oh, and again, Saunders with an enormous stop, point blank. I don't know if we need to debate this any further. Saunders is your Kings player of the game. Jackman coming the other way, trying to find the streaking Fraser, who's had a couple of really good one-time shots on McCausland. Now Langell one time, my goodness, Saunders, holy smokes. I don't know where the police station is in Tyne Valley, but he's made rob after rob. That was incredible off the stick of English. The Dukes have to be wondering what else do they need to do to solve him. There may be more than a banana split in his future. Now the other way. Dukes Amiro's in front. A big block from William Henry. Nice defensive play there. Have not seen McCormick back on the ice. That doesn't necessarily mean the worst, however. Aylward has his man. Gardner loses it. Aylward now able to chip it up. Quincy McLennan taps it down, and he'll go one-on-one with Glover. Glover will come away with it behind his own goal. McLennan not able to get it as Slavuta was on him. Nice poke check by Slavuta. Pickpocket, poke check combines to be pick check. Henry crosses the blue line, he'll loft it in. Glover knocks it down. A skate on it, Broussard. Backhand, and who else? Saunders saves the day yet again. Saunders is keeping his Kings in this one. He'll get a face-off to his left. Kings in their sharp-looking white and burgundy. Love those colors with the gray accent color. The white stripe down the helmet. A lot of really good jerseys in this league. And, of course, the Dukes are the farm club, if you want to call it that, of the Charlottetown Knights, and they have Las Vegas Golden Knights colors. Now there's a mix-up. It looked like Romaine was ready to take exception to that hit. The hands came up, and he wisely stepped aside. No further. Cole takes it across the Dukes line for the Kings, still in possession. Lemoyne, pardon me for that. Had a chance to one time, it slipped off of his stick. And the Kings now in Dukes territory, kept in by Corkum. And it's stick check from Hartman, who's going to come in. Blake Hartman, one-on-one, lefts it high. The rebound is there. My goodness, you'd think Saunders, the worst he'd have to deal with is just Hartman one-on-one, but the rebound was there. That was Fisher right on the back doorstep. Hartman chips it around to Corkum. Corkum will take a bump from Fisher. And the Dukes now with control in Kings territory. Wrapped around, Murnion able to save it. Slavuto backhands that out to Cole. He'll break in on Green. He's got help. Cole just out of reach. Excellent try by the Kings. And back comes Eastern. Offside will be the call. Were the Dukes, and we've seen crazier things happen, were the Dukes able to hold on to this lead for the next 25 and 50 seconds, they would end up with 8 points. Blockered high off McCausland's gear. Culp now, who just missed a good look, as the Kings send in 3 behind the puck drop. Murnion will send that in deep. Lively in for the Kings. He'll take a bump. Able to get the puck out, however. Despite the 4-0 score, there's no less effort on behalf of the Kings. No, sir. Sidarik is back. Oh, that hit a skate, I believe, of Corkum. Could have been more dangerous. And the whistle sounded prematurely. There will be a hook call. I think this one on Murnion. And so even though there was a shot attempt made, that didn't count. So Murnion will sit. Less than 5 to go here in second period. Give me a second to review the situation for tomorrow. Should the Dukes win and get to in regulation, that is, again, long way to go. Just giving you the combinations and possibilities. That would get them to 8 points. Amiro shot through, rebound, and Thompson was there on the doorstep. McCausland able to look that in. That would eliminate the Cabot Highlanders with 6 points. And then it would be a winner-take-all battle between the Rebels and the Vitoes. That one's coming up next in 2 hours at 3 o'clock. Rebels sit now with 6 points, the Vitoes with 7. Now again, there are varying circumstances. Oh my gosh, Saunders put that into the leg of Gardner. He could have taken a different turn. There's Jackman. Going to finish his U16, a stellar U16 career here today. Going to come back to Weston, the same for him. And Miro, all the veterans are out there. Setting up Fraser. Heavy shot! McCausland may have gotten a piece of that. It drifts wide. A minute 5 remaining on the power play. That one's high into the mesh. So just to go to that 3 o'clock game a little bit for you. Should the Rebels win in overtime, in regulation, correction, they would get to 9 points. Should the Vitoes win, they would get to 10 points. Now, they both can't win, of course. They're playing against each other. I'm sure you knew that. Lemoyne unable to stretch far enough to grab that. He will before it gets too far. 4 seconds left in the power play, and it is Broussard in there doing some good penalty killing work. That'll be chipped into the Dukes bench. No, it won't. I lost sight of it, but the referee did not, and they play on. This is Slavuta. Swing that around. Grancelli. Excuse me, that's Romaine in there. A shot into the gear of McCausland. He's been busier this second period, no question. So a Rebels win would take them to 9 points. A Vito's win would get them to 10. Again, they both can't do that. Were it to go to overtime, a Rebels win would get them to 8 points. And a Vito's would be getting 1 point for that overtime loss. That would get them to 8 points. So we could conceivably have the Rebels with 8, the Vito's with 8, and the Dukes with 8. I'm sure you know this, but only 2 teams can advance. So I'll have to look into the tiebreaker situation there. If it is head-to-head action, then the Dukes, again, I'm making assumptions here, but if they were to hold on to this lead, they would have victories over both Rebels and Vito's in this tournament. Now, I don't want to say anything for sure. I'm not convinced that is the tie-breaking situation, but that could happen. There could be 3 teams with 8 points. This is why you want to stay tuned to Saturday afternoon action on High Button. Backhand, that's McCormick back out. Dukes fans will be happy to see him back in the play. A weak backhand scooped up by Saunders. It's a rainy day here, at least on Prince Edward Island, and there's not much else to do, so thank goodness we have under 16 hockey to keep ourselves entertained. We're approaching the 18-minute mark of play in the period. 4-0 Dukes. 2-0 after one. 2-0 as we get towards the end of the second. That one's tipped away. Goals in this period by Langell and Arsenault. So some secondary scoring there. Not all done in McCormick. There's Arsenault again. Lost the puck. That's Chisholm on him. LeBlanc, some good forechecking there. Forced the shot wide off of Bowering. Has a good board battle behind the goal. Is lively. Shot didn't have a lot on it. Might have been, again, LeBlanc with the stick on that. Chisholm sees his man done. He's got support from Weston. They're in behind the goal of Saunders. It's in front. Dangerous again. McCormick's got a stick on it. That slipped wide. And we may have a dislodged net. Nobody's too upset. That's usually the call. If people were upset, there'd be a penalty involved. A minute 16 tonight. Now all teams will be treated to, I'm sure, a wonderful banquet. That'll be held at the spectacular Mill River Resort, a little bit west of here, probably 15-ish minutes. Some of you may have, who are watching from off island, or even on island, would have been perhaps. It's great all 4 seasons, but summer is really its peak time there. The world-class golf tournament. Brand new artificial surface baseball field has been installed. That'll be host to, I'm sure, a number of tournaments like this throughout the upcoming summer. So not quite as spectacular in early April that it will be towards the end of June and July and August. And everybody loves their hockey season, but I think everyone will love to see the off season coming as well. Back the other way. Neufeld trying to break in against Murnion. Now, I taught Murnion's mother many years ago. That was not her last name. That's Dad's name. And there are a couple different ways to pronounce that on Prince Edward Island. One is Murnahan, which I was told was maybe less correct, and there'll be now a call going against, I believe, the Kings. So a late 31-second left. This will be only their second infraction of the afternoon. Amiro. And it is a head contact of the 2-minute variety. So in the country, I'm told, in Prince Edward Island, sort of central Queens County, Fort Augustus, there's a lot of that area. Murnion. And locally in Charlottetown area, we would perhaps call it Murnahan. And I've heard there's a giveaway now. This comes Jackman, the wrong guy to give it to. Another giveaway. This one at the other end of the ice. McCausland equal to that test. 19 seconds left. That would have been something for the Kings to get a little bit of momentum going into second intermission. And this is Jackman again. Slipped off of his stick. Just 5 seconds to go in the period. Murnion with a big blast. That'll be wide and over the glass. And that will do it for period number 2. The Dukes with goals from Langell and Arsenault have doubled their lead to 4. Joseph Saunders has been heroic in the Kings' net. And we will be back for period 3. A lot on the line for the Eastern Dukes. A lot still to be decided here this afternoon. I hope you're settled in. Maybe call Skip the Dishes if you need a snack. And we will be back with you on High Button Sports very shortly. Back with you for period number 3 on High Button Sports. Game number 9 as this tournament starts to take shape a little bit more. It is a 4-0 lead for the Eastern Dukes as we are ready for a puck drop on period number 2. Shots on goal in the second period were 14-9 in favor of the Dukes. Joseph Saunders, my goodness, has made this should be more than 4-0. And McCausland at the other end made a couple of show-stopping saves himself. Total shots after 2 are 33-16 in favor of the Dukes, and they hold the most important advantage, and that is on the scoreboard, 4-0. Late in the second period, Amiro with a late penalty. As the rest of the Kings make their way out, that was a head contact, 2-minute variety, and so they will be on the hook for 1 minute and 29 seconds, down one body. That's unenviable when you're down 4, of course. We are almost all set to go. Of course, we'll love you to stay with us for game number 3. Coming up at 3 o'clock, an hour and a half. And goodness, won't that have significant implications. That will be Vitoes and Rebels. And I did go through as I understand it, the scenarios. What happens with wins, losses, overtime wins, overtime losses. It's a 3-point system, not the standard 2. Now that's turned over. The Kings again working on killing this penalty for the remaining 1:15. English will take control. He'll find it back to shot right on. They score. A one-time set up by English, set up by Quinn McDonald. And early in period 3, the Dukes capitalize on the power play. Beautiful feed back and forth between English and McDonald, and back to English. He one-timed that and able to finally solve Joseph Saunders. I expected to look up with the puck in Saunders' glove. No disrespect, of course, to English, but Saunders has just been dynamite. So it's now 5-0 Eastern Dukes, and they are in control of this one thus far. 30 seconds gone into the period, an early goal. Puts the Dukes up by 5. Back to Green. He'll see it again. That's redirected. Sidarik had good positioning in front of his goaltender Saunders. Jackman now. He's got slick hands on Jackman. Look at him come away from the corner with the puck. And he'll feed Thompson. Jackman's breaking in alone. Thompson! Tight angle shot. It hit a shoulder of McCausland. That was a great rush by Jordan Jackman. English with Murnion. Trying to get through. A nice kick by Amiro to keep the puck pushed out to the side. Godkin slips it through. Murnion was in there just out of reach. Now Thompson will clean it up for the Kings. He'll take a bump from Gardner, and Amiro forced back behind his goaltender. Not able to get that through. Jackman will take over. Does he have another end-to-end rush in him? I'm sure he does. Dukes now have a bit of a luxury of this will be a call now. This will be on Gardner. Got the stick in a little too tight. I'm just about to say that the Dukes have the luxury of being able to play a little more defensively as opposed to being a little bit aggressive. However, that will be Gardner sitting for a maximum of 2 as the Kings will get their power play opportunity here early in the third. hoping to solve McCausland. Lemoyne, shot along the ice, and that took down Henry, and he is down. He's not able to get back up. A hard shot, he's trying to crawl his way, and he will be replaced by Green. He's taking a fair bit of lumps as well off the shot. So Henry hobbling, not even hobbling, crawling to the bench. And keep an eye out for him as McCausland with a shot off the stick of Cole. It was a big shot blocked by Henry, but could be an expensive one in terms of losing a player. Lemoyne playing the quarterback position on the power play, and the Dukes will get that down. Saunders will be the first to touch it. Lemoyne with a rush of his own. He'll hit the red line and pound that in. McCausland, it just slips over his stick. Bowering now sends his coaching and training staff running for cover. As his attempt missed the glass. A couple of pretty able former players in their own right, in their own day, behind the bench, still have some agility. In the face-off circle, Win back. Amiro with the shot, moving in. That went wide, probably hit a body. Shot again, blocked from Henry. Look who's back on the ice. And he fields that one for the second time in about 45 seconds. This is a war. Bodies being laid on the line. Amiro navigates the blue line with the puck. He'll drift that in. Was Neufeld, got a stick on it, tipped wide. It'll come back, Culp. Grancelli with a shot right on, and McCausland will have the save, doing his best Velcro impersonation. There's a little bit of a mix-up. Henry's in there, Neufeld's in there. The Dukes would be wise to try to skate away and let it go. Referees with a little discussion there. Don't think anything will come of it, however, and we're ready for the face-off to McCausland's left. It will be Lively versus Godkin. A bit of a replay there. Looks like there was a Duke taken down on the play just in front of McCausland just after that play, so I suspect that's what the issue is. Watch that replay again. Now, there is some discussion going on with the Kings bench and the officials. Can't imagine at all what the conversation is, but perhaps based on what happens next, we'll be able to infer a little bit. I have a discussion now with the Dukes coaching staff. Who knows? Maybe it's a bit of a warning. Don't know. We've had very few post-whistle altercations or conversations. I'm sure both sides would love to keep it that way, if possible. We are dealing with 15, 16-year-old young gentlemen, and emotions can sometimes run high. And great job by Weston keeping that in. All the way up through center now is Godkin. He crosses the Kings blue line. He'll work into the faceoff dot. Just lost it at the last second. And a hand pass will be knocked down and called by referee Jack McKinnon. And it is 1:30, well past my lunchtime, and I have to say the smell of those beautiful Cavendish Farms fries are wafting through the Cavendish Farms Community Event Center. Woo! I don't imagine if I asked the referees to give me a 5-minute timeout, they would oblige. I'll have to wait. 15:30 is what we have in regulation. And Miro, lots of minutes here for the Kings. Slips that past. Done, neatly done. Now Amiro, still with the puck, lugging it all the way in. Tried to one-hand that through. Excellent rush by the Kings D-man. He was able to, with a right-hand shot, get one hand on the stick and one-hand that towards McCausland. English drops it for Dunn a little too far. He's got Chisholm in his grill. Backhand Langell, who scored the 3rd goal, centers it. English, who has scored the 5th goal. McDonald floats that in. Saunders, first save, tips it out. And a tired Amiro will off that the length of the ice. And the Kings will make wholesale changes. Kipton Aylward. Shot right on. Saunders saw it all the way. He'll take the glove, take the whistle. Right on. And that is Saunders with the save yet again. Duke's hovering around. Now the Kings will get it loose. Back is Fraser. That was on net. Got into the gear of Aylward. Now Jackman dangerous behind the goal. Centers it. Back to Siderik. He'll float it in. McCausland saw it. Siderik opts to go low. One time. Fraser couldn't get released as it was Arsenault on top of him, and we will have now a penalty. An interference call. This will be Aylward who will sit. Interference, and the Kings will get another opportunity on the power play. Winging around, back to Amiro. He's got Weston with him. He's got Jackman with him. And this is Fraser, knocked out of the play by Broussard into center ice. That'll force Weston and Fraser, Weston, yes, and Fraser back. Weston, some nice moves. So some good rushes by the Kings D-corps here in this period. It'll come to Amaro, and McCausland sees it cleanly. So puck drop will be to the right of McCausland. Jackman's in there again. He's got Thompson. Back to Weston. Jackman feeds it across. Amaro decides to go corner with it. He's got Fraser. Shot, another block from Henry. My goodness. Going to need another block by Henry. I mean, he is a big man, but still. That one sails wide, bounces back out. And same thing happened to Saunders at the other end. Oh, it's just off of Jackman's stick. Correction on that. That was a lovely setup by Fraser. Now Weston had it knocked off of his stick by McLennan, and with 40 seconds to go in the power play, the Kings forced to retreat. Amaro with another rush. He'll get the shot away. The rebound is there. Scooped up by Henry. He'll be down. He's got two Kings on him. And the Dukes now will come back the other way with two. It's Gardner and Godkin. Feed to Gardner. Saunders with a piece of that one. The Dukes will go all the way back to Green. Murnahan, and they're taking time off of this penalty kill and been successful at it so far. Just 8 seconds remaining. This is Corkum through the middle. Slavuta. Now Blake Hartman with possession. He breaks in, trying to get a tight angle look there on his off wing. 11:30 to go. 5-on-5. Giving chase behind the goal is Romaine. And Saunders able to get a stick on that. He'll push it into the corner as well. What a game for Joseph Saunders. Back on the other way come the Kings. This is Cole with a step. Cole shot. Oh, McCausland with two big saves, particularly on the rebound. My goodness, that was a beauty. And McCausland's down on his backside. He had Slavuta in front of him. I'll catch the replay here. See if I can find who was Johnny on the spot. And McCausland robbed. Both goaltenders having themselves whales of game. Don't let the score fool you. And we'll be icing against the Dukes. Good race, but referees say it'll come back the other way. Okay, we'll go back the other way as time now is a factor. It was Slavuta who was right behind the play. And boy, he's got to be looking to the heavens going, what do we have to do here? Broussard, nice move. Dion Broussard lugs it in. Saunders stayed with him all the way. And again, right back in. That was from McDonald. Maybe I'll give my order of fries to Saunders. He deserves something after this one. Arsenault working through. Stick check from Neufeld. And a penalty upcoming. This time it will go against the white and burgundy. Referees confer, a little conference. Looks like Amiro is headed toward the empty door, the open door, I should say. And more to the point for the Dukes, there is a downed Duke. And trainer Jody Green is out to look at that. And Amiro is being escorted off the ice. However, we'll see what the damage is to the Dukes player. So Amiro's career will finish early. Can't see who the Dukes player is. But they are still down. .9:44 on the clock. Cross-checking Major is the call for Amiro. He will spend the last few minutes of his U16 career and being escorted off the ice. Again, I can't quite see from my vantage point which Duke, but they're walking. It took a heavy hit, obviously, a major cross-checking penalty against them. Be served by Chisholm. And word from our insider is that it may be Cash Fisher. who went down as the recipient of that cross-check. And he indeed would be a huge loss as well for this team. So with a 5-goal lead and less than 10 minutes to go, the Dukes firmly in control of this one. You are trying to get away without injury, suspension, and we'll hope the best for the injured Duke. English with a shot, and Saunders has it under his right skate. I'll admit, from my angle, I couldn't see that corner very well to see what happened. Let's see if I can get a replay. As the Dukes working around. McDonald, another save from Saunders, scooped up by Weston. He's trying to find a little bit of space to clear it out. Dukes forechecking, of course. They're up man here for the next 4 minutes, 24 seconds. Essentially half of the remainder of this period. So that plus a 5-goal lead. And relatively safe to say that the Highlanders from Cabot will not make a return trip to the championship game as they did last year. McCormick out there. McCormick will shoot it. That's high over the glass. Pace of play is really slowed to a snail's pace. Arena's very quiet. And this is going to be Siderik will get that job done for his Kings and get that deep. Causing out to play it, gave that away into the feet off of the shot from Lemoyne into the feet of McCormick as this will be another whistle here now. And I have to say that looked like too many men on the ice play, actually. That may be against the Dukes. It was certainly an after the play or outside of the play whistle. And I believe I saw the referee put up a too many players' hand. So we'll play 4-on-4. .802 on the clock. Cross-checking major to Amiro, served by Chisholm. And too many players on the ice is the call for the Dukes. That'll be served by number 12, Connor Arsenault. So it's 4-on-4 action now. Lots of skating room. The skilled and the skaters will be out. This is Murnion. He'll get a shot in. Saunders got a bit of that one, just enough. .723 to go. Fraser will come back the other way. He's had a couple of good looks on McCausland. Thompson joins him on the rush. It's in front. Now they're setting it up in front. All the way back. Nice move. Glover works in. Shot blocked by Elward. Elward now will skate it out. Tired Kings roster. Shot right on, and Saunders will take the glove and the whistle. 6:53, still 4-on-4. 51 seconds remaining here in the penalty for too many players on the ice to the Dukes. Battle off the puck drop. Green able to keep it in. Broussard with a nice move. Weston back for it. 6:40 on the clock. Weston will go back now to Corkum. Up the wall, Cole. Cole with a burst of speed through center. He'll go one-on-one. Cole shot just a little wide. And that'll be out of play. Again, we will be back with you on High Button here at 3 o'clock for a huge game between the Vitoes and the Rebels, as this one looks to be going the way of the Dukes. It's been our pleasure on High Button Sports to be part of the league, not just in Nova Scotia this year, but in Prince Edward Island and in New Brunswick. And I'll say my own personal thank you being a part of this great organization. It's been a whale of fun and a privilege to be part of. Jackman in his own zone. Just 2 seconds left in the too many men. Jackman being forced wide. Good attempt. And he'll pick up LeBlanc. So the Dukes will be back to 5-on-4 with 65 seconds to go in the major to Amero. Henry, who's taken his lumps in this period in particular, works his way in. And the rebound is scored by, it is Langell with his second. Henry did a lot of the legwork. The rebound was there. Nothing Saunders could do at all. Langell with his second of the game, set up neatly by the rush of Henry. And Saunders made a huge first stop. And this one is all but finished now with a 6-0 Eastern Dukes lead. It's certainly looking like a 6-0 win at this stage. Or a win, I shouldn't say 6-0, of course. Bowering now. He takes a heavy hit along the boards, and Bowering is in a mix-up. And again, just as we mentioned earlier, I'm sure both teams will want to refrain from the rough stuff. And that's not what we're going to see. I think Bowering and Neufeld will go together. So it looks like coincidental minors. I'm expecting that to be a minor anyhow. Coming with 5:11 to go. Holding the official call from Bowering, for Bowering I should say. And we'll get the Neufeld's description in a moment. Cross-check on Neufeld. 5 even to go here. Still 13 seconds remaining on the major. Some good work by Romaine to take the puck off of Godkin, but now comes back the other way. Langell looking for 3. Oh, Saunders with a glove on it, and it slipped past the left side of the goal. So the major is over, and we're now down to 5-on-5 again, or back to 5-on-5, I should say. Aylward up to Gardner through center. This is Aylward now. Aylward's in deep. Langell behind the goal line. Worked on. Good defense there by the Kings. Back comes Chisholm the other way. They're trying to take on 3 Dukes. Quinn McDonald, forced wide by Corkum. In the corner, Lemoyne will swing that around. Into the feet of Cole. He'll backhand that out, looking for a little breathing room. Less than 4 to go here on the game clock. Henry to Hartman. He'll chip it in and chip it over. That will be into the Kings bench, I believe. 3:41 is on the clock. Game 3 of the day coming up in an hour and 5 minutes, and it's a doozy. a regulation win. Again, if I have my understanding about me, a regulation win by either team would put them into the championship game. An overtime decision makes things extremely interesting. Again, at this point, I think it's fairly safe to give the Dukes 3 points. Great glove save by Saunders, my gosh. I'll be happy to have the rest of the day off. Should the Vitoes, I'll go to the overtime scenario for a second. Should the Vitoes win in overtime, that will give them 9 points. And it will give the Rebels 7 points. Again, we're going to give, for the moment, the Dukes their 8 points. Should the Rebels win in overtime, that would give them a 2-point jump to 8. And the Vitoes' loss in overtime would give them 1 point to 8. So we could conceivably have Rebels, Vitoes, and Dukes sitting at 8 points each. And then we go to tiebreakers. And I'll go back the other way. Cole in tight. Nice pass attempt. Slavuta was right there. Right on. And Henry will clear that out. He's being watched by Lemoyne. Henry's going to try to pull that away. He's taken down. No call. Probably the right decision. Lemoyne sends it back to Weston. Grancelli tried to tiptoe through center. He's pulled down by the Dukes. And this is Godkin shot. Saunders watched that one go wide. Catches a breather. I do finally have access, thanks to a phone in there, to give us a little tip on accessing Game Sheet Live. Good job, Trevor Peters. 52-23 are the shots in favor of the Dukes. Joseph Saunders, wow. No icing here with the tip. 120 seconds to go. Now again, I'm not entirely sure of the tournament tie-breaking situation. It is often head-to-head action. And if you are a fan of the Dukes, they have beaten both the Rebels and the Vitoes. Does that mean that if it were a three-way tie with 8 points, does that mean that the Dukes advance? It might. You will have to stay tuned for the local legend, Luke Diamond. He will have the call at 3 o'clock between the hometown Rebels and the St. John Vitoes, who led this league a lot of the way. Their dynamic duo of Livingston and Cooling, they'll be back at it, trying to push their team into the gold medal game. That's off a skate. The Vitoes, of course, low in the standings last year, looking to go to first this year. The Rebels trying to, on home ice, to secure a spot for the second consecutive year in the Maritime Championships. The Dukes trying to get back. They were in the Maritime Championship. McCausland, big save. It'll be cleared back out. Thompson keeps it. Dukes are in the Maritime. Another block from huge blocks by the Dukes. Steve McCausland kicks that back out. One time, Thompson. That's into a Dukes player as well. And they're just looking to clear it. Thompson, good pressure by the Kings. It's in loose. 64 seconds rather on the clock. Grancelli keeps it. Kings with some of their best pressure of the game. Frazier, Aylward, Dukes just trying to get it out. They can't. Frazier keeps it in. Now Godkin with a little bit of skating room. Just banks it off the glass and it'll be out. So I'm starting to say the Dukes 2 years ago in Moncton had a 3-goal lead with 5 minutes and change and lost it in a challenging way to the Bay City Armada. Still, for those who were there, including myself, heartbreak for the Dukes. Last year, 22 seconds away from a championship game berth. And the Rebels ruined that one, of course, as well. So, lots of scenarios, lots to talk about. And Luke Diamond will give you all of those scenarios on his broadcast coming up. 22 seconds left here in this one. This will get the Eastern Dukes to 8 points. Will it be enough? It will certainly be enough to guarantee them no worse than a 3-way tie. That's off the ice, off the stick rather, and here comes McLennan down the other end of the ice. Just 15 seconds left. Nice defensive play. That one was by Grancelli to catch. And with 5 seconds left, it will be the Eastern Dukes. A convincing 6-0 victory and a winner-go-home game. And with a good contingent up to this part of the island from Charlottetown East. They're well supported here. And the Kings season will end, of course, with a wonderful, and of course they're hugging, supporting each other. Tough to see, especially for the graduates. Had a very dramatic Nova Scotia provincial title win last weekend. Maybe 2 weekends ago, I forget now exactly, but the goaltenders hugging. Joseph Saunders, 49 of 55, many of them of the grade A variety. Now the handshakes. And we'll stay with you for this and the player of the game announcements as well. If it's not Joseph Saunders, there has to be an investigation. Great sportsmanship. They battle hard. There's lots of respect on both sides. I can tell you both fans in the seats are on their feet supporting all of their guys out there. Nice gesture, of course, shaking the hands of the opposing team's coaching staff. Captain Jordan Jackman. He has been a tremendous player for the Kings. And now we will have our player of the game recognitions.
At this time, please welcome to the ice, making our post-game presentations from the tournament committee, Tracy Ball. First, beginning with the Kings Hockey Club player of the game.
For the Kings.
Fantastic one in this one, recording almost 50 saves.
And indeed, it will be number 31, Joseph Saunders. There's a standing ovation for Saunders here in the arena. Congratulations, Joseph Saunders. That was a whale of a game for your last one of this season. That's a good one to sit on over the summer. And for the Dukes, this will be Mason McCausland, the opposing goaltender, with a shutout, in fact, in a winner-go-home game. And we are down to one game in the round robin. Then, boy, this will be a dramatic one. A regulation win will get either team into the gold medal game tomorrow. Again, if I have my tie-breaking scenarios wrong, that's one thing, but it does look like the Eastern Dukes have gone a long way to guarantee some Sunday action for their program. That's it for me, Mark Rooney on High Button Sports. Thank you so much for joining us. The Eastern Dukes wrap this one up 6-0. Tough to see the Kings, some of the second-year guys having a hard time leaving the ice. You got to feel for them. It's always a tough time of year unless you're the last one standing. And there can only be one team as the last one standing. Congratulations to both. Congratulations to all five, in fact, who have made it this far. Stay tuned. In an hour's time, we're going to have Rebels versus Vitoes for a spot in tomorrow's gold medal game. Luke Diamond will have the call for you on High Button Sports. Mark Rooney signing off. Thank you so much for joining me.